Hello, patrons. So this is the audio tutorial for Video Killed the Radio Star. And I wanted to just go over some stuff about the session. You can see I've got it pulled up here. I'm going to hide my effects for a second just so you can see the general overview of the session. This is a pretty small session, I would say, for how we generally work. Actually, it's not that small. This is a medium-sized session. Maybe it's a little big, actually. So it's a lot of tracks. This is more tracks than I even remember. But let's kind of go through some of the main features here. I started to use a lot more omnisphere in this track, which I want to talk about. Also, this was an interesting recording process for us. Natalie and I recorded a demo track of me playing Wurlitzer, which you can see here, and Natalie playing bass, which you can see here. And actually this used to be just one take. It was all up here. You can see I can extend this. We played through the entire song. So we figured out a form first, and then I played Wurlitzer, Natalie played bass. We played to a beat. Actually, we put up a deadmau5 beat here. Listen, I think this is the beat. So that's a deadmau5 beat for ghosts and stuff. We looped the drum beat for that song, and then we played Video Killed the Radio Star basically all the way through. We thought that was just a demo track to kind of remind us of the arrangement, and we ended up keeping it. So this is the bass track. You can hear my Wurlitzer bleeding in the middle of the demo. We really didn't even edit it. I just threw a compressor on it, and that's the bass track in the song. Even there are some mistakes in there even. I remember in particular there are a few Wurlitzer mistakes where I hit some sour chords, and we just kind of kept them because they kind of made it feel live and interesting and different. Anyway, so it was kind of an interesting process for us. We don't usually keep demo tracks, and for this time it just felt like we were going to keep a demo track. So there you go. Sometimes you got to use your demo because it sounds better. We got a little bit of delay on the Wurlitzer track, you can see here. We got an EQ cutting out some of the lows to make room for Natalie's bass. We got a compressor, threshold -18, attack 2 milliseconds, ratio 3.12. This is an interesting synth that I built in Massive. This is the pre-chorus synth. Listen to this.
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Pictures.
So that sounds like this. Okay, so the way that synth builds, I think, is really, it's important to have instruments that build organically as your track increases in energy. And so one way that I made this synth build, quote unquote, is by increasing not only the volume, but I increased the number of harmonics in the upper register by changing the wavetable position in Massive here. And I also, if we look at envelopes number 1 and 3, I upped the decay time so that the synth, instead of going buck, buck, it was going bung, bung, bung. And the longer the decay time, the more energy the synth kind of has. So you can see here is like actually really increased the decay time on this second waveform here. So let's listen to the increase in decay time as this synth. It'll go from kind of a buck, buck, buck staccato thing to a bum, bum, really prolonged synth. And you can hear the extra harmonics being added on as well. So, okay, let's go check out a little bit of omnisphere here, because omnisphere was essential to this song. So here's an omnisphere patch. Here we go. So one thing that I love about omnisphere that you really don't get in other synths is an extremely organic sound. And you can see why right here. So I can select acoustic sources and just scroll through all of these sources and use these interesting acoustic sounds. They were recorded with a microphone. I can use them as the core of the synth. I can adjust the attack, the decay, the sustain, the release of those sounds. So I can layer them. So you can see I have a second layer in here, and then I can layer even on top of that. So this has a lot of layers. Let's see, four layers actually. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. This fourth layer here is muted, so it's really 3 layers. But it's pretty amazing when you apply attack, decay, sustain, and release to organic acoustic sounds. You can get really amazing sounding synths. Here's another synth I built with Omnisphere. This one looks like this. So you can kind of hear the tremolo sort of trilling. That's literally hammers bouncing on piano strings, right? They recorded a hammer bouncing on a piano string, and then they give me these tools here to adjust the attack, decay, sustain, and release. And then I layered that with the bowing of vibes. So somebody's got a violin bow here, and they're bowing the side of vibes, and then they recorded that as well. That's a 2-layered sound, I suppose. I've got this layer A and layer B. So when you do, let's hear one without the other actually. So that's the sound of just the piano strings. Here's the sound of just the bowing vibes. And I have full independent control over each one of those sounds, right? So you can see, for this one I had a little bit of a shorter decay. And then for the bowed vibes, I had a little bit of a longer decay because I wanted them to kind of ring out a little bit. So Omnisphere is incredibly powerful when you put these 2 synths together now. Let's go ahead and do that. You hear this cool. And then in context, it sounds like this.
They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine and new technology.
Now you can see I layered it with an acoustic piano sound as well. So that's just my piano at home. That's my old rickety piano. I love layering synths with acoustic instruments. I find that I get really great results from doing that. There's some high pianos in there. And it sounds like I have some chorus on that. Is that what it is? Yeah, it's a little bit of chorus, and that gives you kind of unique sounds too. When you take an acoustic instrument, you put on weird effects that you wouldn't normally expect to hear on acoustic instruments. Cool. So, okay, let's look at, here's an interesting thing. Here's a doubling of the OOO synth. It sounds really cheesy by itself, but when you add, it's funny, when you add voices to that, it sounds really good. Here, let's hear it with voices. And here it is alone. It sounds super cheesy alone, but again, when you put something organic with something inorganic, you can kind of get this very organic sound that's still like ethereal and strange. Okay, let's move on to the chorus here. So for the chorus, I've got sub bass. Here we go. And I've got that side chained, which you can see here. It's side chained to the kick and the snare. Then that's underneath Natalie's bass. It's just doubling Natalie's bass line. Then let's see what else we have in the chorus. We've got this beeper. And here's the thing leading up to the beeper. Okay, then we've got my Wurlitzer. piano. That's my EQ on the piano. You can hear that's what I had my mandolin rail on my tack piano there on my piano. So that's what makes that really metallic-y sound, is the hammers are hitting those metallic bits of metal on top of the strings. There's some crashes in here for effect. Here's my snare drum. So that's a snare drum that I recorded. That's actually my drum. That's not a sample. It's my drum. I recorded with 3 different microphones: a Neumann, an Octava, which is a little old Russian mic, and then a 57, an SM57. All together, it sounds like this. So you can hear the snares rattling there. I don't know, it's kind of a dark snare sound, but I think it works in the context here. And then there are these massive hi-hats. Just huge open hi-hats with some compression and a little bit of EQ. Just cut out the low frequencies. But I'm just like slamming those hi-hats to get like a really open chorus, big sound. You get a lot of high frequencies. And this kick sound is a sample, I think. Yeah, it's a sample. Cool. I'm layering the kick. Oops. Let's go like this. Layering the kick with some acoustic kick sounds as well. So that's my acoustic kick. And here's the sample. So you get kind of a natural sound because of that. Again, is that it for the chorus? There's some vocals. Let's see, we recorded a lot of layers of Natalie, so.
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star.
And I think something you can hear there, I'm bussing the vocals to a return track here. Let's see. 3rd return track, so you can see I've got some sidechain compression every time the kick drum hits, and every time the snare drum hits, you can hear the compression bump in and out. Let's listen to just that actually. And that's going to make the drums feel really big. It's hard to notice that. It's hard to notice the reverb, but it makes the drums feel big because the reverb like pumps out when these massive drums kick in. It's more really to make room for the drums than anything else. I'm going to stop showing my returns here. Anyway, that's most of the session. Those are most of the ideas. There's some tweaks and changes throughout. I doubled a lot of the bass and Wurlitzer that we recorded with piano and extra stuff like that. But that's the whole session. So, yeah, I hope this is still helpful. Please continue to leave me comments. I'm always checking comments and making sure you guys are, learning a lot and getting value out of this. So definitely let me know how this is and what you'd like to see next time, and I hope it's good. Okay, thank you for being patrons. We love you guys. See you soon. Adios.